ran out of battery on my first battery, so I gotta swap that out before this rises. Welcome back to the vlog. In the spirit of back to school season, I thought I would bring you a bit of a tutorial episode and focus only around one day of my life in this vlog, whereas with the last couple I've been doing like multi-day adventures. But this one is like one particular day that I had a good time on, and I'd like to express it in more detail and give you some things to take away from it. So over the course of this video, we're going to go through my process for finding a photography shot that I want to take, going and taking it, and then editing it in post, and hopefully you learn something along the way. Good morning. The reason I say good morning, as you can see, it's dark outside, so it's not night. It's 5:45 in the morning, and I have risen very early, not for any particular reason. It wasn't intentional whatsoever, actually. But I've decided to carpe the diem a little bit, and I'm gonna go grab some sunrise shots. At times like this, early in the morning, when I need to take a nice photo and I don't know where to go to take a nice photo, I use PhotoPills. It's an app where you can kind of plot out where certain nice things to take photos of, like the sun, are going to be on a day-to-day basis. And as you can see from my little iPhone screen recording here, the sun is this yellow line at the top of the screen. It's going to rise exactly on that parallel. So you can see as I slide back and forth on the date, the sun comes across from the east and it's going to rise at precisely that angle that the yellow line is at. And my plan is to go over here to Chaudière Bridge at Zibi, and I'm gonna shoot down the river over the Portage Bridge. And you can see that in the background is Parliament, so it should make, hopefully, some pretty nice shots for us. And yeah, let's go find out what we get. Empty streets again. And this is an even bigger intersection than last time. Okay, we're here. It is looking good. There's a little more clouds than I would like for sunrise, but there's a little strip of goldenness down there, and the circus is in town, which I actually forgot was a thing, so that'll probably make some cool photos too, the big top. Yeah, I'm gonna get to it, see what I come up with. When I'm shooting a sunrise or a sunset or something of high exposure, maybe theater lighting, for example, here's what I do to make sure I get a good exposure. First of all, I set my f-stop anywhere between about 5.6 and f8. So it's not too shallow, so I don't really lose any sharpness in the image, and not too deep because I'm not the hugest fan of sunstars in my images. I like a more soft, dreamy look at sunrise. Number 2, shutter auto. It is so bright when you're shooting with a source like that coming into your lens that it doesn't really matter what your shutter is at, it's gonna freeze the motion. A recommendation though, in my case I should have brought an ND filter to slow down the motion so that I can get some blur in the water. Kind of looks like this, for example. Number 3, my ISO, just locked at base. In my case, 160 is the lowest ISO I can grab on my camera. I just lock it down there because I want nice clean images, and again, there's plenty of light for exposure, so I'm not worried about it. Number 4, my exposure compensation, perhaps the most important part, usually lives at like -2 to -3 EV. because we want to focus all on the highlights when we're doing sunrise photography. We don't really care about the shadows, I care all about the gradation, the fine details in the bands of color on the sunrise. And that's all for now. Back to me for more photography adventures. Just ran out of battery on my first battery, so I gotta swap that out before this rises. One second. Let's hope this battery has some charge in it. I didn't really prepare very well for this. Oh, 100%, fantastic. That's getting good. Okay, I can see the sun coming up now. Okay, here we go. So, it's past sunrise time now, but since I'm shooting elevated ground, the sun's not quite up over the clouds. So I'm starting to see these little God rays coming out, and I think it's gonna be a sick shot. There it is. There's the sun. I'm headed over to the other side of the bridge now to get some different angles. I just got probably one of the best shots I've gotten so far this year. It's a shot of... You're not gonna hear about that particular photo until the very end of the video, so stick around. If I only had 30 seconds to explain my edit, here's how I would say it. In the early morning, I like to flatten the blacks in the image and shift my white balance towards the cools. Why do I do that? Early in the morning, it's dark, so often the subject is silhouetted and the light is bluish because it's blue out. From there, I saturated the colors and shifted a couple of hues just to motivate the emotion of the color. I used Photoshop to remove some pesky power lines and move the crane's hanging piece to the center of the image, as well as adjusted the crop to give the image a little more story. Pretty good. Not as good as this one. This one I took a little later on when the God rays I referenced earlier came out. Trying a different style in this edit, trying to create a color contrast along with the luminance contrast by dropping the shadows down to near black and then making them bluish and accentuating that blue, and then also like in the bright orange sunlight that the luminance is, you know, obviously plenty high. That's what I'm going for with that one. Let me know which style you think is better in the comments below. Finally, the best shot of the shoot and the mystery shot in the thumbnail. Yeah, I'm actually really proud of this photo. I made the right choice with moving positions when I did, and it turned out that I got this perfect timing snap of the sun rising over the west block of Parliament's Tower, which is exactly that tower you see in the photo with the two rods on top. I'm thoroughly proud of this shot. It's later in the day, so I went with the golden sun rays, the complete opposite way on the white balance towards the warm part of the scale, and just the image just speaks for itself. I'm proud of that one. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you for watching.